So today, it started out like it was looking like, oh, it's gonna be a pretty day. And Stella's having quite the mood. She had me up all night. Oh man, last night was a rough one. So I feel really out of it. Like I don't even know. Am I gonna fully wake up today, or am I just gonna stay in this weird state of in between? That's what it feels like. Um, but all of a sudden, it was looking pretty and everything, and all of a sudden it just became dark. I don't know. It's harder to see. I've noticed like things look like it's a lot lighter outside than what it is when I show. It's super dark. It's really, really dark. And just a hailstorm just came in just suddenly. That's what I was talking about, like this bipolar weather. It just goes all over the place. Like their weather machines are shorting out. Like they don't even know what to do. Like, should we do this? Oh, I don't know. Maybe do this. And maybe they've got so many different weather systems happening that there's collisions happening out there in space that they don't have control over. I mean, when you think about any of these evil villains, who want to take over the world and take over humanity and stuff, they there always becomes a part where they've got too many balls up in the air. They're trying to juggle too much, and shit's gonna start falling apart. So who knows? Are they really just doing the bipolar weather? Are they doing it to wake us up? Are they doing it because they've lost control? I mean, it's hard to know. That's part of what's hidden from us and part of the secret world of the illuminated ones, So when we, it is good and just keep being a process to us being able to see through to the truth. I had a bunch of people asking me on TikTok because I put that out there. I think it's very significant, this bank situation. And, when I first left Southern California, which I think there I was like Wells Fargo. So I was used to like big banking system. And then so when we came here to Washington State, my husband was in the union, and when I got divorced from him, that was actually my second. I got divorced when I was very young from my first husband, the dad of the older two girls. And but my longest marriage was 15 years. I've had one that was 4.5 years, I've had 15 years, I've had I think 9 months, and I've had 6 years, 4.5, I think two were like 4.5 years. I was with the people, I think like 6 years, and married for like 4.5. And then and one of the last one, I thought I was being so careful, like, oh well, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm gonna date them for a long time. But still, people, you see what you want to see. We block ourselves from the truth. In relationships, we dismiss red flags, and we allow people to treat us a certain way when we don't feel good about ourselves. So that's why it's really important to do your work, because it's real simple to start feeling good about yourself. It's not super hard. I mean, they've made it to where we are confused about it, but it's simple. Just work on yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, let things come up, look at them differently. Don't get stuck. Don't trap yourself in pain. Release pain, release resentment, all of those things that will help elevate you and move your vibration up. But when we had moved up there, his labor union had a contract with this little small credit union. It was really, really tiny. And they put his money in automatically, and they gave like this extra benefit. I think they start like a savings account. I don't know. If you were in the union, you got a lot of great benefits from the union at certain times. Like, I don't know for everybody in every union, but some unions give a lot of benefits. And so this little credit union was really tiny. And if you had something come in, like a check, and you didn't have enough money, they would call you. They would literally call you and go, hey, you got a check coming in. Can you come down here and cover it? I don't want to have to give you a charge or anything. They were always like so nice. Like they didn't want to, and back then, I swear to God, charge would have been like $10. Now it's like, it became 30. For God's sakes, it's probably 40 by now. And not only that, I mean, how many extra are they going to start charging us for every little thing? Like, did you take your medicine today? Well, sorry, you get docked $10 each day. You don't prove that you took your pill today. So this is like not good. And but in that one, it was really small. And then they started growing and growing, and they started getting fancier and fancier buildings, more and more employees. And then they just completely became cut off from you. It was like so significant, the change, how the people were. And, it was a completely different world when they started growing. And who knows who was backing them and giving them money to grow, because this is how the system works. And so they grew and they became heartless and cold. And I'd been banking with them forever. And I got my brain injury. And then I couldn't understand numbers and money. And I was messing up my account. And I wasn't having doctors help me. They were pretending like, nothing happened. Because it happened in the hospital. If it would have happened in a car wreck, then I would have gotten more help. But since it happened under their care, they have to pretend like nothing's going on. Oh no, it's just your hormones. You just got hormones. It's like, okay. Hormones make you forget what happened the day before, make you forget your past, make you forget people. Then we'd all be walking around. Nobody would fucking know anybody. Like, the stuff they say is just absurd. So, that bank, I left that bank when I got like the $900 charges, because when you are injured, your money stops coming in, but your bills don't. And so you're trying to shuffle money around and get shit covered. And especially if you're having a problem with remembering and all that stuff. And I kept getting charges on their charges. It was like, if you didn't pay the charge, you got another charge. It was like I could get $60 off of one freaking thing. And so I was just like, fuck this. I am not staying banking with people like this. So I switched to another bank. And that bank was also small and really nice. And like they gave the most interest on your money. Like, it was a really cool bank. Especially it was just starting. So it had all of these great things that you could have. Like, you didn't have to pay to have an account. Like, right there, we had to pay to have an account to keep our money in there. So then, and then the charges after charges. And they use the money, like if a bank has, like 100 people, I'm just going to pull numbers out. So a bank has like 100 people at bank there. And the money that they have in the bank is, so what the bank can count that they have like $200,000 off of these 10 people. So their value that they can go out and trade around is $200,000. So they could loan out that money to somebody, and then plus they have like insurances and stuff with covering each other. But whatever it is that they have as their people, that is their currency to how much value they have. So, and why banks want to get bigger and bigger and bigger, because then they can loan out more money and have more value and all that stuff. It's just all a fucking numbers game. So whatever that one did, it sold out to a bigger bank. And that was right when I was moving up here, and I was like really, really irritated. Like, another fucking bank selling out to another one and then fucking us. Like, all of a sudden it was charges on this, charges on that. I was like, oh my God, this is some bullshit. So I moved over here because it was happening right then during my move. So I was like, well, I'm going to get a credit union over there and put my money in that. And so there was a little credit union that was small. It had a lot of good reviews and people seemed to really like it. And it was real personable. It reminded me of the first one that I had gone to, where, they were really nice and call you, and you didn't just get charge after charge after charge. They were a lot more lenient. You use your ATM card, you weren't charged, all of those different things. So I really was liking it. And then you could do the banking online and stuff. So, I didn't ever even have to go near the bank. I could just do everything online. And So, but then I wasn't able to get into my account. And I have known for a while that there's a lot of stuff going on, because if you pay attention to the stuff about the money, and you know some of the stuff about Trump and about the banking system and what's been going on since 2020, and the adjustments that they're trying to create to bring us into this new world order, that they are, it's all about the control. So, of course, it has to have to do with our money, because they used money to control us. And so, the when they the other day, when it was not working, and I kept trying to go on, and then my other bank too, because I still have the old account in Spokane, the one that was sold out to the bigger bank. And so I have that one, but I also have the credit union local. And both of them, I couldn't get on either app. So I think there's a lot more sold out than just mine. I just think it was weird how this woman, like when I called, because I was like, something's wrong with the app. So I didn't know if, it's broke or what the hell's going on. I can't get on my account. And she was just like, oh, no big deal. We stopped using that app. It's like, well, that seems like it would be something that you would notify us about. Like you would send out something. So is this something that, in small print at the bottom of our statement last time? Because I sure didn't get any fucking bells and whistles to tell me this. And so the app isn't going to work now, because they had to switch to a new app because the bank was sold. And that old app, you just delete it. She's like, just delete that app, just delete it. She kept saying, just delete that app, just delete that app. And now when I go on, it's just a blank page. It doesn't even pull up the sign-in thing or anything. So then she said you have to go into your app store and download the new app. And the new app has both logos of Pfizer and our bank. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. But the whole thing that was blowing my mind was she was trying to convince me that this is completely okay. It's completely ethical. She's even saying, we've been doing business with them for a while. In my head, I'm hearing like, what the fuck kind of business is the bank doing with the pharmaceutical company? Please. Especially a little tiny credit union. Like, don't tell me that they bank through you. No, I'm not buying that. So, have you been taking loans out with the from them? Like, what the hell's happening here? I didn't start questioning her. She was just so much trying to convince me that this is perfectly normal. I don't understand why this would be weird to you. And because I'm like, oh my God, you don't understand why this is weird? This is creepy as shit. This is totally like, what? I don't even remember all the stuff I was saying to her. I could have said New World Order. I'm not sure. But, she is either, paid to come in and convince people, or she just had no clue what the fuck was going on in the world. Like, it was bizarre. And that's what I say sometimes, like, when you go and talk to these people who are in this reality, is like, going into bizarro world, is like, how in the hell are you going to try and tell me this is okay? Like the banking, like I'm in a bank now with the pharmaceutical company. Is this the same one that's created these, passports and all of these rules on us? And I'm going to be having them be in charge of my money? Like, I can't even wrap my head around somebody trying to convince you that makes sense. Like, it's the same thing as convincing you, that you are being smarter if you don't get up off your lazy fat ass and walk 5 steps to get your beer out of the fridge. Instead, try and get your vacuum cleaner to go pick it up for you. That's smarter. That's being smarter. To me, being smarter is taking care of yourself, eating right, look into natural remedies, and getting up and walking. Sometimes in my house, like I'm by myself, so nobody can just sit there and think I'm weird. But if somebody is in my house, I've done it all the time right in front of them. It's not like I'm doing something that I think is weird, but I will just go in and start doing like stretches, like yoga stretches, or if I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk to the bathroom, I may Monty Python walk to the bathroom, like what crazy walk, and maybe I'm doing lunges, and maybe I'll grab my weights and do them. It's like, Every time you get up and move, you should be using that time as movement. You should be looking for ways to get up and move, and, creating fun ways to add movement into your life, not be smart, sit there and just die, let your blood become toxic, and you insulate yourself so that you can't even fucking move. That is, what they manipulate people into thinking, hey, that's smart. It's smart if I don't ever have to move. It's like, no, you got to start seeing, I need to move. I need to move around. I need to focus, get as many of the chemicals out of my diet as possible, which is impossible. I mean, you can try and get the chemicals out of your existence, but, they're going to make sure they're going to spray you like crops with poisons. So they're going to make sure that they get the chemicals in us. I mean, in the water, it's full of fertilizer and poison and shit. So, it's all full of chemicals to turn sewage into, something that's clear. It's like, it's got a lot of chemicals. Even those tests where I had seen where the person was doing them and testing the water, it's like, there's no water in our water, it's a bunch of fucking chemicals. But I had noticed that. I know I talked about this because I noticed it in the summertime when I was spraying it into the bucket for Stella's water. That's why I quit spraying it into it. She wouldn't even drink it, but I could smell it. When just go out and spray your hose water into something that's contained, and then the mist that comes up, you will smell it. You can smell the chemicals. And yeah, she would go up and start to smell it and then run the other way. But now, even with the rainwater is so full of chemicals. So, I mean, we can't get away from all the chemicals. All we can try and do is reduce the amount that we are ingesting, because it is, it's all of the different ones combined is what is killing us. Like some of the people who, got these and died immediately. Well, we don't know what all chemicals that they already had in their body. We don't know their complete DNA makeup, and, what things that they are more prone to having kill them, because all of us are a little bit different. So different things are going to kill us all. That's why they're trying to cover it in so many different bases of different chemicals and different ways to get them into us and stuff, because they are, like the cabin in the woods. Like we got to throw everything at them. Some of these people are too strong. They're not dying fast enough. And but you do have to, in your own self, think of like, I need to be up moving. That's being smarter. Getting up, even if it's, if you're trapped in the house and you're trying to stay away from people or whatever, like me, I'm just trying to ride out the storm. And so if I'm in here and I'm not getting to, go out, like if it was a normal world, like the old world that we used to live in, I'd go out and walk, ride my bike all the time. Like, I don't want to go out and ride my bike and be out there breathing hard. I don't want to go out and jog, be breathing hard, breathing in some of those chemicals, and come in and, 2 weeks from then you're totally sick from all of the chemicals. And then you think like, oh, I caught something. I better go do a test. And the tests have got more chemicals. So, I mean, they're pushing and pushing and pushing. Do a test, do a test, do a test. Why the hell do you need a test to tell you you're sick? Or a label to tell you what the sick. Pay attention to the symptoms. Work with your symptoms. If you got a temperature, do something about your temperature. If you don't want to take Advil and Tylenol, then, take off all your clothes. Go sit in a cold bath. Think about the things that they do to bring your temperature down. If you've got a cough, you don't want to take cough medicine, then you can do, like essential oils and humidifiers and stuff. There's other things that you can do to work with the symptoms. If you've got like a lot of snot, then, and it just keeps coming, like a sinus infection where you just, snot's pouring out your nose, it's dripping and stuff. There's people that do those little pot things. There's Mucinex, there's different things. And I'm sure there's so much in nature that we are, there's, my mom just got a book about, the weeds that are good for us and stuff or maybe her book is on foraging. I don't know, something about the natural vegetation and growth that we can use for our health. And so there's all those books out there, and you can look. I'm sure there's a lot. You can even watch some of those homesteader videos. There's a lot of homesteaders who talk about the herbs and what you can do with them, and the things that they can help. Like if your kid has a stomach ache, well, you give them peppermint, and they can chew on those leaves and their stomach quits hurting, stuff like that. So there's all that information out there that you can look for natural, more natural, I don't want to say cures, because, you know, that gives you this idea of like what they're marketing, like you just cure something immediately and then, you know, it keeps coming back. But it's going to keep coming back because we keep being poisoned. So however your body reacts to the poisons is how it's going to react. But you got to work with the symptoms. You got to think about that. You don't need a test to tell you. What the hell is a test going to tell you? So you have a label so you can run around telling everybody, oh, I got this, I got this, I got this. Like, what's the point? You need to focus on your body, tune in and see what's happening with it. And then what can you do to, you know, baby or pamper your body while it's going through something. And, but like for me, being in the house, you know, and a lot of times like trying to find something to do, you know, like working on my coloring book. But right now, doing those drawings and stuff, like when you're doing some more creative things, it's like you have to have that internal motivation. Like it's something like turns on you. So when I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to go force myself to do something, because even when I try, it's like, I don't like that, I don't like that. But when you're in that groove and everything's working, then it's like, oh, you're just in a flow. So, you know, I'm not going to force something that I'm not in the flow of. But, you know, and a lot of this is just trying to get through this part, what's happening right now. Like we knew that there was going to be a really hard time to get through, and I think that we're in that time. And so for me, it's like try and find something to watch, and that's hard when you see through all of the programming and shit. Then it's like everything is like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? Even the commercials, everything is just, so sometimes watching the shows, you just feel like they're just laughing at you in your face, like, you're so stupid, you don't even know this, you don't even understand this. And you know, I just see through a lot of that bullshit. But so you know, sometimes I'll switch something, like watch something for 2 minutes, switch to something else, watch it for 2 minutes, switch to something else, like, but, or turn on music, or, you know, go cook something, or go dance, or go walk outside, and, you know, just doing different things. But I will, for sure, every little bit, get up and start doing something, some kind of movement and stretches. And one thing too, I noticed, because, you know, you got all these people who have exercise plans, like different people have different exercise plans. Well, do this, do this, do this. And, you know, this works really good for me. Which a lot of exercises, you can go do them and you will feel them working well for you too. But what I have noticed is for each of us as individuals. So one thing, just like this, like if you bend over and you touch your toes, like if you bend over, like doing stretches and stuff, and you reach down to touch the ground, and you will feel that stretch go up from like your tailbone, go up through your spine. You know, you feel everything stretching, all these muscles loosening. But if you take your hands, like you're bent down, and you take your hands and you put them in like prayer position. This is something I have noticed with so many exercises and stretching. So you do it in prayer position, and then stay bent over, but pull your hands up slowly, up until like they are like up here. So you're bent over and you pull up like that. You will feel so many different stretches. And sometimes like I'll take it and I will move them. There's something with this pressure that you do that changes like how your muscles feel. And I would have never ever done that if I would have just stuck with like, oh, if I just do this and I just do that. Like I just tuned into my body and found different things that work. And so that is what I think is important, is kind of like tune into your body. And, you can start doing sit-ups or something like that, but start noticing what of your muscles and then of where you need to stretch and how you need to move. And you don't have to follow the exact diagram that someone's giving you. Tune into your body and notice like what your muscles want to do and how they want to move. And there's so many more deeper stretches you can find in the movement. And then like say if I'm doing these ones, and you pull your hands up and you can move them and you tune in and you can move them around, and some of them you take in a really deep breath and release it. And it's all about this movement. And then plus when you get yourself into a position where you have to hold a position, like that is it's like calisthenics or something. You pull those muscles in and you hold them. It builds those muscles. You don't have to go out and like dead weight 100 pounds to build muscles. You can do simple things like this. And so you move around and you do those breathing, and it's the movement and the breath work and staying in this tuned into your body, like, and moving around in these kind of ways, just like what I was saying. Like if I was gonna walk to the bathroom, like there's so many times like I'll get up and I'll just suddenly get up and do something, and I'll start doing like weird walks and weird stretches and stuff, and Stella's always just like watching me like, what is she doing now? And then you turn on music and you can turn these stretches and movement into going with the music. It doesn't have to be like, oh, dancing like that all the time. No, tuning into your body and moving and holding them, and then getting those muscles to tense and to do work. It's important. And they want to just get people to, figure out a way to your vacuum to bring you a beer. And, pretty soon they just have people like, oh, just have your toilet right there. We got this new recliner. You just lift it up. You can go to the bathroom right there and close it right down. It's like, people would buy it. I swear to God, people would run out and buy it, because there is such a thing about what they're doing to these people to get them to, just cut off from themselves and just, become this, I don't know, the visual in my head is just kind of like, a whale. I mean, they have people who are just extremely, extremely obese, and they, think that they're out there proving that they love themselves and, their health's okay. Well, you can't see what's going on in your body. You can't see the damage that's happening to your joints, to your heart that's overworking, your lungs. Your lungs and heart and stuff don't grow to the size of your new body. Your body is putting stress on all of your organs to do that. So when they try and say, oh, I'm so healthy, and, and just with their stupid ass commercials, like, now we've got the extra big boy bed. Buy the big boy bed because we've got all these big people, and they show all the people frolicking around in this commercial. I doubt there's a lot of big people frolicking around because they wouldn't stay big that long. Most of them get exhausted. That guy who I saw the other day buying his red velvet, I mean, he was shuffling with a cane. He couldn't take a big step with the cane. Like, he was carrying way too much weight. And then, his diet is included, it's like gasoline, really. It's like a poison like that. So he's drinking, the black velvet, and his liver is already, detoxing, and then all the chemicals that it's detoxing as well. And so it's worn out. So, his skin's going to start looking gray. It's not going to have the same color. His eyes are going to get dim. His, people's skin gets really dried out and scaly looking, and it changes colors. And you can tell when people's health is suffering, but they aren't looking for those signs. They're just looking for ways to accept themselves out in the system instead of pulling free and thinking like, hey, this isn't working for me. Like, my body is suffering. I'm feeling like shit. It is working for some people. Some people, like I've said, it's surprising now how many people are putting these videos out of their transformation and how fast their transformations are happening. Like, people are losing 100 pounds in 9 months. They're losing 150 pounds in a year. Like, people are taking off mass amounts of weight. And it's just simply changing what you're putting in your mouth and changing, like, you should have a gap in the morning when you get up. You shouldn't just get up and start eating stuff. But sometimes, like if I'm starving, I'm going to get up in it with my tea. That's why I like to have crackers and stuff, biscottis and stuff with my tea. But if, you don't need to get up first thing in the morning and make this big giant breakfast so you can go sit on the couch because your remote's really going to wear you out, right? You have to, if you're going to get up and eat a big old breakfast, it should be like you've got a big day planned. You've got a lot of energy that you're going to be putting out there. So that's kind of how they've tricked people. Get up and eat a big breakfast and then go sit your ass on the couch and don't do anything. So there is people who are seeing that, and they're noticing. But another thing too is we shouldn't be eating right up until the time we go to bed. Your body has to have a period of time of processing and then go to bed, and then it processes even more to break things down. So there's all sorts of things like that isn't in our common way that they're trying to tell us, because just like they want to kill the dandelions to take away the natural heart medicine, they want to kill our abilities to take care of ourselves and our health and our nutrition. And so it's all through this manipulation and lies, and they dangle their cures in front of you. So if these people who, make these big changes, all it takes is just start moving more, start really noticing what you're putting in your mouth and the times you eat. And if you're eating out of hunger or you're eating out of emotion, and you can change your life so fast that they just have people who are so, it's like they want to believe the bad stuff instead of breaking free and focusing on how to take care of themselves and what would be needed. How can I become healthy? Why am I, if I'm like, how many people, are they looking, like, I know when they brought Lizzo out, right? And it's like, okay, all you women who are struggling with your weight, and not accepting yourself, that you keep growing out of your pants. Look, we have a new role model for you. She loves herself. She's big and she's beautiful and she goes out in her underwear, and so people would rather be like, yeah, I want to be like that, and focus on that kind of thing instead of thinking like, well, I don't really want to be happy and big and proud. I really want to be like this other person who seems happy, and have got a lot of energy, and their skin looks good and they look healthy. I want to be more like that. So what are they doing? What could I do to follow that? But instead they think like by these labels and so, well, I'm just this, I'm just this, I'm just a big person, I'm eating like I'm supposed to be eating, and I'm just big, so I'm not like these other people. I need to fit into my crowd. But that's the part of the awakening where you have to see you are making your own crowd. You're just choosing where you want to align. So you want to align into accepting that you don't feel good about yourself, that you feel unhealthy, that it's hard to move around. You have to worry if you go to someone's house, do they have a big boy chair for you? Now, I have been out with some people who are big, and it is a situation. It is something on their mind all the time. I've had to sit in a certain place in theaters because of the chairs and what the people have to sit in. So, and I've had somebody come to my house and sit on a piece of furniture, and their worst nightmare happened and they broke the furniture. It's a real thing. And And that person just so happened, like, that was their bottom. That was like their fear that they were going to go to someone's house and break the furniture. And then when it happened and they fell to the ground in front of everybody because it was at a party, that was it for them. They're like, I've got to do something with my life. But that's where everybody has to have their bottom. Everybody has to see, like, for themselves, what do I want for myself? And that's when you have to go after what you want. You have to pursue it. You can't just accept whatever because if you're accepting it, then you are, doing the other thing. You're going in and looking for role models that say, oh, it's okay to be this way. And, no shame on them. I mean, everybody's got their own thing, but, there's reasons why they promote certain people. And, it's always to mislead us. They've always got a Pied Piper out there. Every time that they see something come up in the group of the collective of humanity, every time something comes up, they quickly rush in the Pied Piper to move that group in the direction they want that group to go. So, it's like Big Brother is real. Like, they are always watching over us. And then they have, like, technology where they can see, like, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. So we got to, come in behind it and make sure that we are already got it covered. So something happens, they've already got it covered. They were talking about, the Dovik thing years in advance. I mean, Obama was putting stuff into his executive orders about it. So this, they always know what's coming. They are the creators of all of the hell that they put us through. But each person has to see and want more for themselves. They have to want more for their health, for their body, for their mental state, and, and connecting to something outside of you, your higher self, connecting to, the earth consciousness, the world around you, this solar system that we're a part of, connecting outside of this little created world that they have mastered, is how you do start feeling better. It's the road to enlightenment. It's the road to feeling better. But they keep so many people, like they've got the stage where they're doing their show, and they keep so many people just focused on that. You have to get bored with it. You have to get sick and tired of it. You have to reach your own bottom so that you can pull free and then develop yourself the way you want to be developed. You just because, I mean, there's bigger people and there's smaller people. Like, I'm fully aware of that. I mean, I grew up, I was 5'10", and back then there wasn't a lot of tall girls. There was very few. And then plus I didn't have any girly shape to me. So so when I would be around like all these little tiny girls, and I couldn't switch and become a little tiny girl. I couldn't switch and, become like those cute cheerleader girls with all the cute shape and, the average height and cute shapely bodies. I didn't have that. So you can't change your own biology. You can't change your whole body to become, oh, I just want to be. I mean, it could be that we're going to go into that kind of thing because this is a development of consciousness. And we may get to that point like, well, I want to be taller. I want to be shorter. I don't know. This is all stuff for us to see. Like, anything is possible in the future. So, but I mean, if some people are just bigger people, they have bigger bones, and some people are just smaller people and they have really small bones. So you still have, your own body to work with, but you definitely don't have to be, a couple 100 pounds overweight. That is a choice that you make of how you want to direct your energy, how you want to feel about yourself, and if you're going to tune into yourself. So there's tons and tons of people who are seeing it for themselves and taking a hold of their own health and, doing it for themselves. But, you know, it's for each and every person. It's this whole thing with the awakening. Like I've said, it's like very multi-level of this awakening to everyone's truth and taking care of yourself. And, you know, that is this whole ascension, this whole mind, body, spirit connection. And, you know, how you see your avatar and how you love yourself and how you love others and the energy you put out and what you will accept for yourself. That's all part of the awakening. And, you know, all of this horribleness happening is just to expose this stuff, the truth, so that we can see, so that we can make choices for ourselves. So if we know, like, they're poisoning the food, so, and especially the fast food, you know, and then cutting us off from the sunlight. Everybody should be taking vitamin D for sure. All the people who were dying of the Dovik, they were having no vitamin D. And I know that's part of why they're putting whatever this thing is they're blocking the sun with, because you can see it. You can see it. It's not like this fireball in the sky. You can't see the fireball. You can only see it like a disc. It's like, it looks like the moon if the moon was illuminated. So I don't know how they're doing it or what. And then plus, you know, it puts out this extreme heat, but it's very directed. It's like a direct heat. So it doesn't melt the snow. Like if the sun comes out and you have snow on the ground, it has overall heating, you know, it melts the snow. Well, I've watched this, you know, we've been being bombarded with snow and it doesn't melt the snow. And plus the snow's artificial too. So yeah, it doesn't do it. But if you go out and you are right directly in the sun, then it burns. Like you can feel it. Like it burns. Like the heat that it's putting out is extreme. And the light is different. Like it blinds you if you look at it. And then like when I did, I kept seeing pink lights everywhere, like all the lights, all the headlights and everything that had light was bright pink. It didn't have the same kind of light that it used to have. And it took, I don't know, I did it while I was driving. And I would say probably 20 minutes of the drive that all the headlights that were coming at me were bright pink. And all the lights of people's houses and stuff were bright pink. So I don't know, you know, what UV or whatever, all their technology that they can do with light and stuff. And I think it's some sort of a blocker kind of thing, like that. Like I've said, like they're shining some magnifying glass or something to block out the sun, and then they're creating this cloud surface thing, you know, that kind of acts like it's a tinting in the atmosphere of poison and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what all they're doing, but I definitely pay attention and you'll see stuff is weird. And each person has to see for themselves. Like, you know, I don't want to be gaining more weight. So what do I got to do to change my life? You got to love yourself enough to think you have value to change yourself into whatever you want. You can be whoever and whatever you want. But that's the surrender, where people don't see that they have that empowerment. They'd rather surrender to the system, surrender to Big Pharma, who's got the answers for us. And, you know, but really, you need to not surrender. You need to empower yourself and work on yourself. And, you know, if you're 200 pounds overweight, don't get like all caught up in like, oh, I'm so horrible, I'm so rotten, I can't believe I did this to myself. No, be proud of yourself that you're now taking control of yourself and that you are going to learn how to love yourself. And a lot of people who are extremely overweight like that do have a lot of other issues that they're dealing with, because there's so much to the emotional eating aspect of life. And there's a lot of pain that they need to heal. So there's a lot of stuff that they need to work on and release and let go of, so that they can move out of that kind of state of being to move into that state of being of loving themselves and being their best self and putting that out into the world. But it's just such a process to learn to love yourself and accept yourself. And that is why everything is happening on this planet right now. Everything is being exposed so that you can question things for yourself, so you can take a stand for yourself in your own life. And that's what the awakening is about. That's why all this horrible stuff is happening. And it's not happening like what people believe. I mean, they are going to keep pushing it and pushing it. Like, I don't know how far we have to go into this rotten bullshit for people to wake up, but that is why we are going into the rotten bullshit, to wake people up, not because we're going to be there and that's going to be a part of our life. I don't know what point we have to get to where it stops being a part of our life, but it isn't going to be our future. They're not going to get our kids. We're taking the kids back from them. We're taking ourselves back from them. We're taking this world back from them. Honestly, they, like I said yesterday, they have every opportunity that they could go in, raise their vibration, do their healing, humble themselves, take their punishment. And also think about this too, even if they were to exist till 2040, 2044, whatever, that's not to say that they're not going to be existing in an island that holds them as a container. You know, the whole Gitmo thing keeps expanding and expanding. They're putting in a geriatric unit. Like, they're planning on these people being there long term. Some of them, they don't get it. You know, they're just straight up firing squad. Oh, the other day though, where I was saying, my mom said that I think it's too good for them. They shouldn't do that. Really, they should have to go through what they've put other people through. Like, Gator Boy should be, you know, everybody should get to come up with, well, I wonder what it would be like if I injected somebody with Windex. Let's have Gator Boy, let's test this out on him. You know, what goes around comes around. And I think, you know, same with the Frauchi. They all should have to endure what they have put people through. So that it would be fair play. The firing squad is way too good for some people. It's way too quick. And, you know, they're not going to have the suffering that they've brought in. Even if death isn't real, the pain and suffering that they cause by taking people away from people at a young age, and you know, taking kids from moms, and taking, I mean, there's so much of it that they've done, especially in Africa and India. You know, we're only getting a taste of it. Like, they've been doing this to these other people for a long time. And, you know, it should be fair play. There should be more extreme things. I think there's going to be a lot of outrage with a lot of people when they realize that all of this stuff was being done to them on purpose. And then plus, it's being done to you on purpose, not because of global warming or whatever the fuck they're marketing, but because they just want to get rich off of us. And, you know, and they just don't give a fuck. So that's the thing that's really, I think, where people are going to really have a hard time and be outraged. And there probably will be some, you know, some mercenary shit that will go down. They probably need to arrest all these people and put them in a safe place, because I think there will be some chaos that would come if there's certain people who have got so much anger right now built up, and so much fear built up. All these emotions have to go somewhere. Something has to happen to release them and move them out of that kind of energy. So yeah, I think there's a lot more drama to come. I think we just have to see. She keeps me up all night. But I did have to give her some more medicine, man. And I got this dog CBD hemp stuff, and it's so much cheaper. Going to the weed store and buying this stuff. The THC derivative is supposed to be stronger and stuff, but man, she goes through so much. So, anyways, I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you later. Bye.